are here with Kristel. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good. All the days are the same here.
That was
You
my
too?
energy. My energy was like, oh, okay, slow down, little girl. We are in
No.
quarantine.
It's just existential dread.
Where are you? Where are you stuck?
I'm in Los Angeles at the moment, which is on major lockdown. So I'm in quarantine.
Oh my God, it's insane. But I hope that we get back to normal in a bit.
I hope so too. I mean, the only benefit really is that it's really, really hot outside. So I don't want to go outside anyway.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, sure. So, tell me, Kristel, tell me, who are you? What do you do? What's going on? And why are you so cute?
Oh, thank you. I like compliments. I'm the marketing and editorial director at Groovy Productions, which is one of the largest producers of trans erotica. I've been with the company for 11, 12 years now. I don't know. After 10 years, it's just one long, big blur. We're a production company. We do websites, DVDs, and then the other thing that we do is we host the Transgender Erotica Awards, which is like the Oscars of trans porn, and we're going to do an online show this weekend, actually.
Yeah, so the TEA, right, is coming
Yes.
in Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday.
So it used to be a live show, and because of COVID, we've had to change it to an online show instead. We're adapting, but we're gonna we pre-recorded everything, so it looks as close as possible to a live show as we can. We have like our mistress of ceremonies, we have presenters, we have the winner speeches, we have the nominee videos, we have a few little surprises. So hopefully people will be happy with what we put out there.
Oh, that's so cool. How can I see it? Where do I see it? Where do I don't know.
We're going to be streaming it for free at Grooby247.com on Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're also going to do a live viewing party that I'll be hosting. So we can all chat together and sort of watch the show in real time together. So I think that'll be fun.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
Can you watch it? Will you be awake? I
Absolutely.
don't know what the time difference is.
It will be fine, I promise you, because it's Sunday. Can we drink?
Yes, that is encouraged, because then it'll be authentic to the live show that we do.
Kristel, tell me a bit, why a separate show for the trans community?
So when we started the show, it was, I think, about 12 years ago. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, there was no, I believe, any trans categories for the major adult shows, because the landscape of adult looked a lot different 12, 13 years ago. And so we're like, okay, well, we're gonna make our own show. So it was really casual. We didn't really know what we were gonna do with it, and it was just an online competition where we announced the winners just on the website, and people really took to that. And so the next year we did a little bit bigger, and we hosted like a small version of it at this really shitty nightclub that I will not name in LA. And we did that for a while, and then every year it would get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until we ended up at the Avalon, which is our current home. And part of it is just because the trans adult industry is a lot bigger than what other people can see who are outside of our industry, and so I think it's been great that major adult shows have included trans categories, but it still doesn't cover, right, like the whole breadth of like what our industry is. And so our show specializes specifically in that, because we feel like we want to honor as many people as possible. So we have, I think, over 30 categories, I believe.
Wow, like that's like in a normal show, that's the amount of categories
That's
that a
all the
normal
stuff.
show
Mm-hmm.
has. Yeah, so it's very
Yeah.
all that. Tell me a bit about Groovy. What do you guys do? What's it about? Teach me, school me.
So the company is founded by Stephen Gruby, who started it over, I think, about 25 years ago. And he had a site. It was called Shemale Yum at the time. It's now been rebranded to groovygirls.com to reflect terminology that we believe reflects what the current landscape is. And so from there, he started with membership websites, and then he would make more membership websites, and then we would do DVDs. And that's sort of the main bread and butter of what we do. And now, like I said, the tea show is sort of another aspect of what we have. But we have all kinds of websites. So if you go to like groovy.com and you look at like we have all the links, it's like all of the, it's like all the websites, and then we have all the DVDs and we have VR. So we do a little bit of everything, and we also have a platform now it's kind of like OnlyFans, but it's specifically for trans performers. So it's its own community, and they can upload their own content. They can have fans, they can have tips, but it's targeted just for trans performers. So that way, people who are looking for that content will be able to find it a lot easier.
What's the name of the platform?
It's trans fans, but with like a Z. So it's tranzfanz.com.
Okay.
And it's free to sign up and stuff. And so you'll see a lot of your favorite trans performers uploading there as well.
Oh, that's perfect. So for those watching, listen up, go see some trans performers, be some trans fans, pay for your porn, everyone.
That's right.
So how did you get in this beautiful heaven of an industry that we're in?
It was totally random. So I was living in Hawaii at the time. That part's not random. I do that all the time. That's just a regular Sunday. No, I was living in Hawaii, which is where I'm from, and I was having a major like existential crisis, and I didn't know what to do with my life. And I was working for the local newspaper taking photos. I was taking photos at like lesbian nightlife parties and stuff like that, and I thought I was gonna write the great American novel, which didn't happen. But anyway, had all these dreams, and I had a meeting with a business colleague of mine, and her partner is actually our accountant, and she's like, "Oh, are you looking for a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a job," and she's like, "Okay, well, it's porn. It was like a retouching job," and I was like, "Okay, that's fine, whatever." And she's like, "It's trans porn," and I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever, it's all the same to me. And so I got an interview and I got hired. And so I actually originally was hired as a retoucher, which I'm terrible. I don't know how, I don't know how he kept me. I was terrible. I did retouching for 2 days. And I remember I was so slow. And all I did was I had to retouch toilet paper out of a butthole for 8 hours. I was so bad. So I did that, and then I remember the next day, Steven was training me on something, and he figured out that my background is actually very writing heavy, and so he's like, I'm gonna have you do this instead. Don't do Photoshop stuff. I'm gonna have you write. So I used to do the blogs, and I used to do sort of website updates, and I worked my way up to the top to where I am now, where I do a lot of marketing stuff and brand building. So I really literally started like just as a retoucher, like doing butthole stuff,
legit from the bottom.
Exactly. My humble beginnings.
That's cool. Usually the people in the industry just fall into it. So this is like the story of basically everyone. But this is beautiful. Like you legit started from the bottom.
I just fell into the butthole. See, as many of us do.
We found the name for the book. Like you still have time to write the book.
I'm still writing it actually, but I didn't have a title, so maybe it's gonna be like falling into the butthole or something like that.
That is beautiful.
An autobiography. Yeah.
Into the butthole.
I will make sure to credit you. I will credit you appropriately. Do not worry.
Yes, put me on the rim. It would be.
I will.
I cannot say that. This is going into the video. Okay. Kristel, tell me a bit. You've been in the industry for a while, so how do you see, how people and situations have changed from like 12 years when you started to now? How do people see the trans performers, the trans people in general?
Well, I think when I started, there was a lot more stigma. Everything felt very segregated. Like I felt like trans community, and not just trans performers, but like anybody associated with trans porn, so like even on the business side, we were kind of our own little separate pod, and I think very separate and ostracized from mainstream, because I think there were a lot of misconceptions about trans community, trans porn and stuff like that. And I don't think that that's uncommon, because obviously outside of porn that was also happening. You know what I mean? We've only seen, I think, acceptance of LGBTQ community very recently, and it's still very slow, and so I do think that the industry has made strides for more inclusion and diversity. And, it makes me really happy because I see more and more mainstream performers at like the T show, for example, and so I'm hoping that there is less stigma associated with, our communities. But from a personal perspective, I'm not trans. I kind of fall in this weird queer in between category. You know what I mean? And like, just for me personally and how I navigate the world, like, it feels too slow.
Okay.
Like I'm really glad that like there is more inclusion, but I want it to come faster, because I think a lot of us who are on the outside or who are marginalized, we're getting killed, or we're getting bullied, and we want there to be more acceptance and inclusion at a faster rate, because some of us are literally dying. And even just for me personally, like I think that there's enough room at the table for us to all chill and hang out, and you know what I mean? I would love to see that sort of mentality, and I think that I'm beginning to see that, and I definitely think that there have been improvements, but I selfishly just want it faster, because I think there's so much that we can all learn from each other, which sounds cheesy, but I believe that.
Oh, but that's so true. Do you think that this is because of people's ignorance, or is it just because, oh, that's a bit strange and that's a bit out of my comfort zone? I don't understand it, so I'll throw rocks at it. Or like, why are they like that?
I think part of it is just sheer ignorance. Like if you don't know a gay person or a trans person, then I feel like your mind kind of fills in the blanks of what you think it means. And then I think the other thing too is that people, for whatever reason, get really invested in things that like don't have to do with them, like because they think it reflects them. So like if you think about the people who hate porn, right? But it's like, who fucking cares if you hate porn? Why are you trying to get other people not to watch it? It doesn't affect you in any way. But I think it's for them, it's like they feel it reflects something poorly about them, and they haven't processed their own shame around it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think for like, people with different identities, it's also like, if I accept this community that's not like mine, what does that mean about me? Okay. And I think people have to do their own self-work about that stuff. Like, I think there are misconceptions about sort of, trans individuals. Like something that I hear sometimes is like men will be like, well, I like trans women, but but I'm not gay. And we're like, no, you're not. A trans woman is a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so just sort of unwind, I think, sort of internalize, transphobia, homophobia, that kind of stuff. It takes time, because we all have our hang-ups, right? We all have things that like we feel insecure about our own identity, and I think it just takes a lot of work, myself included, of course.
That's true. No, that I see, like when I hear in my, like for me personally, when I hear someone say, like, oh, like you said, I like trans women, but like, are they men or what? Like my mind and my face goes like, who cares? Like, shut up.
Right. It's like one thing to think that shitty thought, but then to like feel like you have to articulate it to everybody else, right, is like, I feel like it's so indicative of wherever that person's like insecurity is. It's like when people like do something that they perceive as gay and then they say no homo, right? You see men do this all the time. They hug or they say something and they're like, oh, no homo, no homo. And I'm like, okay, what was the point of that? You know what I mean? Like, what is the utility of that other than to broadcast to the world that you are insecure in some way about being perceived as gay, which I'm assuming you think is negative in some way.
which is absolutely idiotic, because nobody freaking cares what your preference is. Nobody cares.
Exactly.
It's okay. You want to, do whatever you want. Anyway, so what are the categories, a few of the categories at this year's award show? What can you tell me about it?
So we have some of the traditional categories that you would see kind of like at the other award shows. So we have Best Hardcore Performer, Best Solo Model, Best New Face, Fan Choice Award. We also have traditional categories like Best DVD. We've included, and this is relatively new in the past few years, we have two best non-TS performer categories for male and female. So we've begun to broaden our categories a little bit. We do the Lifetime Achievement Awards. So this year we do usually two categories or two award recipients. This year we're going to do three, which is a surprise. And what else? There's also the Transcendence Award, which is one of my favorites. It's sponsored by a plastic surgeon named Dr. Sinclair, and we award it to a performer that we feel has sort of transcended the genre and either given back to their community in some way or has, I think, surpassed the glass ceiling in which we deserve for them to be recognized. So, yeah, that's some of the categories that we have. I'm trying to think what else. I bet there's more. Fan choice, let's see. Best internet personality, best non-US performer. So, I mean, a lot of our categories kind of mirror, I think, what you would see at like the traditional shows too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's lovely. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it this Sunday at 7 p.m. How important is it for performers in general, for trans performers and performers in general, because it's the same thing basically? How important is it for them to go to shows and to international shows? Even if it's like, it's not,
I think,
it's not consumer, it's not, they don't.
like business to business shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think as long, like barring the fact that it's all safe to travel and all that kind of stuff, I do believe it's such a valuable part of being in this industry. You know what I mean? Not just from a business perspective, because I mean, I can tell you that by going to as many shows as possible, I've created, not just very strong business contacts, but like I've made a lot of friends. And I mean, they're friends that share kind of like the same life experiences as you. And I think that there's something kind of special and unique about that, so I highly encourage people to go to as many shows as you can, because there's a lot to learn, not just from the panels that they do, but just from all the networking opportunities. And, if you haven't gone to one in a certain area, it's kind of a cool opportunity to travel and sort of experience the world. Like, I think our industry is sort of unique in that way, where we are afforded kind of cool perks. So why not take advantage of that? And I'm really grateful, because I think without the format of these shows, I don't think I would have been able to form as many friendships, you know what I mean, as if, I didn't have this platform. Because I mean, like when we're at something like AVN, for example, where we're all stuck in Vegas for like a week and you're sitting in the casino for hours, you know what I mean? Like you're going to talk and you're going to meet people, and then you're going to have conversations that I don't think you would have otherwise.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's sort of a rare opportunity to connect with people in a way that you wouldn't get to otherwise. Because I mean, like you think about cam models, right? Like a lot of them are very isolated because they're camming on their own, or even people that are shooting with other people. Like even that could be very insular, depending on how often they're shooting, how much they're connecting with other people. But I think nothing kind of beats like person to person contact. You know what I mean? Like even for you and me, right? Like we can chat and stuff like that. But it's like, oh, when I saw you at was that at Internex?
Internex, yeah.
Right. I was so excited, because I was like, oh, it's like in person, and like finally I can put like a face to like our conversations and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that. So,
and
yeah,
and
nothing
the
quite
hugs,
replaces that.
the hugs, man, that's the most important thing.
Yes. I miss the hugs too. I was waiting to get my hug fix at the T show, because I get lots of hugs there, right? Because I'm gonna hug everyone, but it's like, I guess I have to wait. You kind of forget how much you need that sort of human interaction.
I know. Like, I give me 5 more days, and I'm gonna go and meet my neighbors and something.
Right.
Something's gonna happen. So for this year, I mean, for September, we should be good as far as I know. And the Bucharest Summit is going to take place in 8 to 10 of September in Bucharest. That's Romania. That's not Hungary. Have you ever been to Romania before?
You gotta put that thing. I have not. So I'm from Hawaii, and everything's very far. So the furthest I've ever traveled to, I'm very embarrassed to say, is Toronto. Oh. That's the furthest I've been. Oh. I know.
Oh, we need
my world's so small.
Okay, so first of all, let me give you 3 reasons why you should come to Bucharest Summit. Steven, listen. 1, Bucharest is the capital of Romania. Romania is known for Dracula, vampires, traditions, and all of that. Yes, that's what
I'm in it.
The whole thing comes from.
I want to go.
2, Bucharest Summit now is open to every type of performer. It is the European capital of business and adult world right now. And 3, it's so freaking fun, and we have the best clubs, and we have everything that you need, and our food, oh God, it's amazing. give some shout outs for the people that you know you love, and
Cool. Shout outs to people and things that I love. I don't know. I feel so much pressure. Let me think. Well, a shout out to you at first because I think it's lovely that you're doing this show, and I think you're lovely, and I love all your TikToks, by the way. No, they're so good. And even before your TikToks, your Instagram posts, like your style is so on point. And then because I think I also saw you at the Why Not Cam, the community thing. You're just so bubbly and just so friendly.
Oh, that's the
It's
alcohol.
such a no. I don't know. It was like 10 in the morning. Maybe. Well, whatever it is, it's lovely. So keep doing that. It's such a bright light in our community, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, please, I wanted to just take a moment to tell you thank you. I also love another person who's doing a similar show, Lindsay Banks, who I think isn't she awesome?
I adore her.
Yeah, I think she's doing really great stuff out there in the community, and I love that she's sort of also kind of featuring different people and sort of hearing their stories, and you know she's always been someone who's trying to, I think, elevate the good, like everybody, like not just her and not just one platform, but like everybody, and I really respect that. Yeah, I don't know who else. I love everybody.
And to
Steven, you generous man
you
who wants me to expand my world.
amazing person.
Amazing. I mean, in truth, I will say this. I can be such a pain in the ass. And I've known him for so long. Like, you know, I think that a lot of our company stuff is him and I having a dialogue together. And I'm sure sometimes I'm a big pain in the butt and he just takes it in stride for me. And, you know, he's given me really the space and the platform to do what I want. Like, we're like for Groovy, we're doing a lot of sort of, it's like nonprofit type initiatives just for, I think, performer camaraderie and like well-being, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm in grad school right now for counseling.
Okay.
You know, yeah. And so like for me, my focus has always been like, how can we help serve the trans community in particular with these specific needs, and what are things that we can do to support the people that we're working with. So he's given me definitely the space and the financial ability to do those things. So that's the real part, but then the other part too, just in case he lets me go to the summit.
Thank you so much. I cannot wait for the first time that I see you and I hug you.
Big hugs.
Big hugs. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for taking your time to explain. And I will see you at the watch party on Sunday.
Okay, I'll be ready with my shots.